So let's see, homework. So few people have done. Okay, so this is the thing, right? So when you're opening a defect, this is a good thing, okay. But thing is, you cannot open just like that, okay. So just because it's not user friendly, you need to check, okay. You need to check with your lead, okay. And actually, you need to once you get good, you know who are the team members and who are working with. You need to work with business analyst. Okay, you need to work with business analyst, and instead of opening the defect, you want to talk about it. You don't want to open defects, okay? Because it may not be user friendly. That's right. Okay, it may not be user friendly, but you need to first talk about this before opening this issue. Okay, just because it's not a user friendly, you cannot open defect. Okay, you need to first talk to the BA saying that, hey, you know what, this is a thing, and it's not user friendly because I checked another application which is our competitor, and they have pretty good interface and very user friendly. What would we make like that? Okay, so that's how you want to talk with them. Okay, and they say, okay, yeah, that's good. We can do it. That time you need to open defect. Okay. And also, most of defects you need to check with your lead and then open it. Just because you found an issue doesn't mean it can be an issue. Okay, you need to remember that. Okay. Yeah, that's true. You need to check. Yeah, that's right. First, you need to check with the requirement. Okay, first you have to go through the requirement, then see if this requirement is really there. Okay, if there is doesn't exist in the requirement, then you need to check. Okay, you cannot open defect just like that. Okay, you need to check with your respective owner, respective lead, or respective business analyst. Then you need to open the defect. You just can't open a defect just because you found something. Okay, it's really not. It's not good because that's the reason. They want you to have communication skills. That's what it means by communication skills. That means you found some issue or you found some defect, and it really might be a defect. Okay, it's not like it's not a defect, but you need to communicate effectively with that team. Okay, you need to check with the lead saying that, hey, what's the issue I'm getting, and how can we resolve this? It might be lowest priority. Okay, it might be very low and very cosmetic issue. Okay, but still it's an issue. Okay, as a QA, I will take as an issue. Okay, I don't care. You know, I don't care if somebody says, that no, you don't do this, you don't do that. It's really not, If some developer says that, I really don't care because I'm a QA. I know better, the application than they are what they are coding, right? Because I will be viewing it as a user perspective, okay? as a user point of view, and they will be coding based on business point of view. Okay, so I really don't care if they're saying, okay, this is not good, this is not, because nobody knows, okay, better than you. If you are doing QA point of view, you know better. Okay, so that's the case. And also your boss, boss will not have any technical knowledge. They might have, but limited. Only one who will be knowing will be you. Okay, your source. Nobody else will be knowing anything better than you. Okay. And let's go. Okay, so let's go pretty quick here. We'll check about these documents here. So we have done with this now. Okay, SharePoint, you know what? We'll just go, we'll talk about this, but today, we'll maybe 7th class when we are doing Jira, we'll talk about the SharePoint, okay? Because we have directly Confluence attached to that, so we can we'll see on 7th class, okay? So it's Monday, right? So next week, the 2 days are holidays. I hope everyone knows, right? Thursday and Friday. So we'll be meeting at 27th. Okay, so make sure everyone knows that. And I was also told that I need to inform to you guys. Okay, so make sure you guys 23rd and 24th. Right, 23rd is Thanksgiving Day, right, and 24th too. So so and also if you have this meeting invite, right, it's very much clear in that. So I hope you guys will be looking into the meeting invite. If you didn't get any meeting invite, let me know. Here we go. It's clearly here. That's November 20th and 22nd. After 22nd, it's 27th. So, I hope everyone has this so that you can see. This is I made it clear in this at least. Okay, so that. Okay. So let's talk about these documents. So there are various types of documents. Okay. So let's start with BRD documents. So what is the BRD? So it's business requirement document. Okay. Okay. So BRD is business requirement document. And what does it contain? It contains 10 to 20% of use cases, business modeling, risk analysis, budget information. Okay, that's what it contains. Okay, so that's all good. But let's see here, how does really this look like, right? I don't care, you might not even understand what I'm talking about. We want to look at practically, right? That's what our aim should be, right? So if you don't look at it, if you don't get to know what it is, so it's no point, right? You will not able to understand it. So let's look how does the BRD looks like. Okay, so I'll be giving you access for this Google Drive by today. Google Drive. Okay, good. Okay, so there's a lot more information in Google Drive. You can get to know a lot of things here. Okay. So let's see here. Go to this. Once you go here, you have all this. Let's go to where testing documents. Go to testing documents, and I'll be giving you access by end of today. Okay, by today, and then we'll go to business requirements. Let's see how this business requirement document looks like. Okay. And let's see about MasterCard BRD. Okay. So this is just 21 pages. Technically, yeah, you might have that much, or it will be more than that. Okay, it will be more than that, or you will be having more. So this is how business requirement document looks like. Okay, this is just a sample. Okay, don't take it as this will be the only scenario. This is just a sample for you, for your understanding. Okay, so now these are see, if you see this is a lot more information than you can actually understand, right? Let's see if you're doing any ETL processing. This is too much, right? So obviously this BRD, business requirement document, is made, keeping a lot of people in mind. Okay, again, you need to understand this. This is not for you. This is not for developer. This is not for architect. This is not for. This is for everyone. Okay, this is not for one or two guys. QA, no, it's not for only for this is QA. No, this is for whole project. Whoever project people, maybe one to many, maybe hundreds of people are working. I don't know. Okay, so it's a lot of people are involved, and a lot of people have different their own work to do, right? So that's the reason they made this, keeping in lot of people in mind. So obviously, as a QA, you will not able to understand everything at once, right? As a QA, of course, I will not be able to understand. Even if I'm looking for the first time a new thing, I'm like, okay, what is this? Okay, so you will not able to understand everything. The only way to understand is you need to keep reading it. So once, twice, thrice. Once you get into it, you'll understand. Okay, so based on this, I need to prepare my test case. Okay, I get it now. This is underlined. Okay, yeah, underline important points. What is the business requirement? What do I have to do? Okay, good. Now based on this, I will write my test cases. That's how you have to come up with. Okay, you have to read more than once. Of course, once would not help. Okay, so you need to go more than once and see, understand what you understand by this. And see, here's the thing: testing. This is our part. So what we are trying to do here is some description here, and what kind of integration testing we are doing, what kind of functional testing. So all these things you need to first understand this document. Okay, and obviously it doesn't come with one reading. You want to read more than once, and also you want to check with your lead, is there any specific area that I need to concentrate to write test cases based on BRD. Okay, so this is BRD. Okay, you will be having access by end of today, so you can again look at it, so no issues. Let's go to the next one. Any questions? Let's go to the FRD. This is functional requirement document. So BRD is more related to ETL perspective, and FRD is more related to QA perspective. Okay, so those two things are different. Okay, so let's go to pretty quick on FRD documents. I have this sample FRD. So this is a functional requirement document. Okay. Now this is how it looks like. Okay, this is document and confidential company. And let's once you go to here, here you see this. Now, okay, if you see this, obviously you will not able to understand. Let's see here how to interpret this, this kind of requirement, right? Now, yes, it says prescriber first name maps to first name. Okay, this means they're talking about the static text and field value. You see this? Okay, let's see how I understand based on that document. We want to understand the document, right? Let's see here how we get. So obviously this is not document for this GM Online. I'm just giving an example. So let's take an example here. Okay, so here what it says, right? Let's try to understand based on this application. Since we have already application, so it's it's easy, but obviously you will not be having application. So you want to understand based on this. So here it says the prescriber first name maps to first. That means they're saying this is the first name, this is the field value. You need to test this too. That means this is a text and this is the field value. Okay, good. Last name. Okay, here is only one. They can have another first name and last name too. Okay, address field value. That means this is the address static text, and they're talking about this field value. You need to test this. Okay, city field value. Okay, so this is the city and this is the field value. Okay, so I hope you guys are getting right. So this is how you want to interpret, this FRD document. So this is not really all, all the case, but when you don't have screenshots, information is something like this. You want to, understand based on this. Okay, and that's the only way actually. Unless you found something better way, that would be good. But this is how you want to understand. So that means if you are trying to write test cases based on this, and now you're writing test cases for this, that means that means the name field value exists or not, the static text name is available or not. Okay, you want to see that. Okay, and the address static text and field value, city static text and field value. Okay, so you want to see all this. Okay, so that's what this requirement means. Okay. Okay, any questions? So, we're running out of time. We'll just move pretty quick here. So, then we'll go to next, the system requirement specification. That's called SRS. Okay. Let's see here. We have SRS. Oh, yeah, we do. Yes. Okay. So, it contains information about system information, right? So let's say here, now all the systems. See here the things. So what's happening? What are things here? Okay. What are the what we are trying to do in this, and what are the features, and how we are trying to implement. So this is more at high level point of view. So pretty high level. That means, let's say the hardware part. If they are taking the hardware part, then they are taking a server, and it's how many servers are connected to devices, how many devices it is connected. So all those things is discussed in SRS, system requirement specification. That means they talk about all the systems. Okay, not necessary application, not always the application's point of view, but system. How many servers are being accessed? How many all the hardware perspective. Most of the hardware system. Okay, that is SRS. Let's go to PDM. So PDM is called physical data model. Yeah, we have this PDM. Okay, physical data model means it contains information about the tables. So table is a physical entity, right? So it contains information about table. Let's see here. What how. This doesn't have much. So this contains. So you look at this. You know what? This is how this looks like. Okay, this is the table name, and this is another table name. How we are trying to do this? Okay, all this information. How many constraints are there? All this will be there in PDM. Let me see if there's a better way. So there's also called entity relationship. Okay, here you go. So this is how it looks like. So this is small. So there is something called ER diagram, entity relationship diagram, and you want to have that as a big chart. Okay, it doesn't fit in this small thing because you want to know what's the primary key, what's the natural key, what the candidate key is going to, and are we using any surrogate keys, where the data is coming from, where the data is going to, where is the source, where is the target. So to understand all those things, you need to have this ER diagram. This PDM doesn't suffice. Okay, PDM is only to understand the, what you're, it's about the table, only about the table and what it's trying to do. But if you want to go more detail, you want to dig more information, then you want to have ER diagram. Okay, this although this is fit in one page, but if you're dealing with OLTP and a lot of things, then OLAP and OLTP, then you need to you want that entity relationship diagram, and who will be having this access to? You want to check with database administrator or architect guys. Mostly architects, they have to have this. If not, if there's no architect, then database administrator should help you out. Okay. But this is the document. This is a PDM document, physical data modeling, and it contains information about what? Information about tables. Let's go to the next one. There's also called LDM. So, oh, here you don't have. Okay. So LDM is logical data model. So what does it do? It contains information of view. So view is a logical entity, right? View is a logic. So this is what it contains. Okay. What it contains? It contains entity. What's the attribute? What is the primary key? Okay. So all this it contains here. Okay. But it contains only information about the views. So table. If you want to see for the table, then you want to check with PDM, physical data model. So, I mean, this is more detailed. It's not necessary. It should be more detailed. At your work, they might have it. They may not always have it. Okay. So, but it's good to know. Okay, because if you go in some random project too, they might have something like this. Then you'll not have any trouble for understanding that. Okay. So let's go to the next one. Let's see here, HLD. So HLD is a high level design. So it contains information about okay, so it contains information about, let's take an example here, okay? let's say here as a call flows. Okay, let's say you're testing some web services. Okay, let's say you're testing some web services, and then of course it's a QA point of view, but the way you're testing is different. So it's a web services. Now there's something called IVR. I hope everyone knows this IVR, interactive voice response. Now what is that exactly? Let's take let's see here. We go a little bit one step behind. Let's say you want to call Bank of America, right? You want to call Bank of America. Now whenever you call this Bank of America, right, now you're not getting customer service right away. There is an automated service, right? So that's called IVR, right? Whenever you're checking with that automated service, please enter your PIN, please enter your SSN number, please enter your card number. All this is saying nobody is behind that. Okay, so that's called IVR. Okay, that's interactive voice response, and how we do that, that is done by web services. Okay, that's called web services, and whenever you enter some value or you say some number or something, it enters that and it goes to the next flow. Okay, so all this is put in. That's called call flows. Okay, that's like the flow chart, right? Start, rhombus box. You have rhombus box, and if you say some right answer, it goes to another flow. And if you say some wrong answer, it goes to another flow. Okay, and if you say something else, it goes to another flow. So there's a lot of call flows. That's called call flows. Okay, now all this is designed in a document called high-level design. So that's high-level design. Okay, I mean it's not necessarily the same, but it's to for ease of convenience, I'm saying that. So it's not necessary. It should be always an IVR. Or it should be always in web services. Okay, so just given you example that it can be that way, but it's not necessary. Don't take it literally that only web services have high level design, only IVR has high level design. No, even ETL might have ETL, the way they do the project, they might have even QA point of view, they might also have. Okay, so it's just an example to make you understand that it contains call flows. Okay, from start. Okay, from when you're starting and how you are ending it. Okay, and in middle you have a lot of rhombus boxes, you have rectangular boxes, lot of to make sure how the flow is moving. Okay, so next we have TDD. TDD is technical design document. In this TDD, so what does it contains? Okay, in TDD you have let's say you are running some automated jobs, right? So whenever you are using some ETL tool, let's say Informatica, and let's say you're not using Informatica tool as to run the job, you're using some third-party tool called Autosys or Tidal. Okay, now because there are a lot of jobs, so let's try to understand why do we need this first thing. Why do we need these jobs? Now here's the thing. There's a lot of data, right? Let's say millions of data, some TBs of data, right? Millions of records, TBs of data. You want to move from source to staging, from staging to target, and then target to production. So it's really not easy. You don't want to tell me that no, we can do copy paste. No, that doesn't work. Okay, this is TBs of data. Okay, and we are talking about real-time customer records. Okay. Now, you don't want to say that, no, just copy, paste, that's it, done. No, it doesn't happen that way. So what you want to do is you want to organize that, right? Which data is priority, which data is not, and how we are moving to the data warehouse, how the data mart we want to do. And to do that, you want to, of course, you are using an ETL tool, Informatica, but now you want to move that code. You want to move the data from one platform to another platform. Environment. Dev environment to test environment. Okay, now you want to use some kind of tool that's called Autosys. That's jobs. So once you schedule jobs, there are a lot of jobs that some job could be to clean up the data. Job might be for data morphing. Let's say developer had designed some shell script, and they put some SQL queries and SQL queries how to morph the data and all those things. Everything will be coded into Unix shell script. So once you click on the job, then that data will kick on the Informatica server and moves that whole data into the Angular environment. That's what it happens. So here in this TDD, right, what happens is you have various jobs, job 1, job 2, job 3, so on. And you have dependent job, independent job. So all this is represented in block diagrams. You have block diagram, and let's say you want to kick one job, next job is dependent. That means, once this job is kicked, only then you can kick all the jobs. Okay, then you have this autosys commands where you can use it. So all this is put into block diagrams, and that's called TDD, technical design document. These are more of a block diagrams. Okay, and have you guys understood why do we need this? Okay, this is to move your, let's say you want to, that's an example, to move the data from one environment to another environment, and you're using some third-party tool like Autosys or Tidal or something else, or even Informatica has this, there's Informatica Monitor. So you also have that one. So. Okay, so let's go to the next one, that is STM. So this is most important. If you're an ETL guy, you want to deal with STM. This is called source to target mapping document. Okay, so let's see here, how does that looks like? Go to the mapping document. Okay, good. This looks okay. This is okay. We'll see here. So this is mapping document. Okay, this is STM, source to target. Now, what does it contains? It contains all the information about the source and the target. Not just target again. It may also contain staging information too. Now that's not enough, because you don't know what it contains, right? There are tables, tables have columns. The columns also have these rows. A lot of things. Here. So most of the time you don't discuss about the rows in mapping document. You only talk until columns. You don't want to go in rows, because rows might be in millions records. Columns cannot be in millions, right? Columns is max 25, and maybe they have increased more than that. You said 25 is way long back. This was around 2011 thing. Now I think these columns also they have increased. Okay, so now you can have any number of columns, but here let's see here. What does it contains? So it contains here, this is the column. BDW target column name. BDW means business data warehouse. Okay, EDW or BDW, business data warehouse or enterprise data warehouse. Okay, target column name. So this all contains the column name of this target. Okay, good. Now let's go to the next one. So what BDW target column data type? So what data type of this column is? That means address. Obviously, address should be an integer, not a character. Okay, so that's why they put this address. But I'm sorry, address ID. This is not address, it's address ID. So it should be an integer. Okay, and party ID, integer, address, usage, this is varchar. Okay, that means 50 character. Okay, so this is the data type. And then you have this BDW target PK. PK is primary key. Okay, if you see here, this is primary key, this is primary key, this is okay, so there are a lot more primary keys in this. So that is called composite primary key, because you can have multiple primary keys in one table, right? So you can say this is composite primary key. Then if there's any reference code, that means is it does it have any reference code? You have this, and if you reference table, lookup table, that's called lookup table. If you want to look up because you want to see that, and based on that you want to write your query. Okay, so this is about yes, no composite primary key, which contains more than one primary key. Okay. Okay, so this is the information of the target. So now it's easy. Now you can write target query based on this. You need to write query for each and every columns here. Okay, based on the project. Okay, based on the project you need to write. Okay, let's talk about the source. Now you have again the similar thing: source field name, source field data type. Now here's the thing. Here this is the transformation logic. Okay, so this is the transformation logic. Based on this, you need to write your SQL query. Now you want to put this for this, not for exactly for source, but staging. Okay, staging, you might want to put this query. Or if it is source, yeah, of course, you need to put this query. Okay, so this is the transformation logic. And if there's any remarks, they put the remarks that you want to look up with other tables, you look up table, you want to look up and use this. That's how all this information is in the STM document. So this is called STM document. Source to target mapping document. What does it contain? It contains all the information about the source and target, and as well as the staging too. It contains information about the table, contains about the data type, it contains primary key information, if it's a foreign key, and it also contains the transformation logic, which is the most important thing when you're writing your test case as a ETL perspective. Okay, so that's STM. So you'll be having access to this, so don't worry. You can look at it later. Let's go to the next topic is test plan. So I have this test plan very quick here. Let's see here. So this is what is the test plan? Test plan is a high-level document prepared by the QA lead. Okay, and this is how. What does it exactly contains? It contains a lot of information about what are the items that need to be tested. What is the test approach? And what is the entry criteria and exit criteria? And what are the so all this information it contains in the test plan document. Okay, so I'll be giving homework on this test plan. Okay. Not now, maybe in future, maybe 2-3 days. Okay, so so this is the test plan document. It also, I think you also have this here. Let's see here pretty quick. Yes, you have this. Okay, you can also look at in the test plan document here in the Google Drive. Okay. So let's go to the next pretty quick. Test strategy document. Test strategy is a little bit different. Okay. Test plan is like how you approach. Test strategy is like if it fails, so how you are taking the strategy to move forward. So all this information contains in the test strategy. Okay. So let's look at here if we have test strategy. So it's a little bit different from test plan. Okay. Normally it doesn't contain the same thing what is there in test plan. But let's see here if there's anything. Okay, so this is what it contains: test deliverable, testing task, environment and infrastructural needs, okay, responsibility matrix, staffing and training needs, etc. Okay, so normally, what happens, right? In most of the companies they take like test plan, test strategy, same. Okay, they don't differentiate. So don't argue with them, go with the flow. Okay, test plan is normally the planning, right? How you plan. But a strategy is like how, the way you're proceeding with your projects. Okay, and if it fails and how you're going to move with that. Okay, so that's a strategy. Okay, and so that's about test strategy. And you have test cases. So, okay, so we know test cases. We have already written test cases, right? Test cases is a high-level document prepared by the QA lead. QA tester, QA analyst. Okay, test strategy and test plan is prepared by the lead. Test cases is prepared by the QA analyst. QA analyst or QA tester. Normally, the difference between analyst and tester is the tester is only test. Analyst also analyzes it, so more related to analyst. Okay, test cases, the QA analyst. Okay, and what does it contains? It contains information about the test case, ID, objective, steps to perform, expected result, pass, fail, comments, and remarks. So all this information is contained in the test case. Okay. Next, you have this migration documents. Let's talk pretty quick on the migration document. So why do we need this migration documents? Let's say if you're working in the ETL project, and let's say you're migrating. Okay, you're migrating. Let's say you're using in Teradata database, and you're migrating to Oracle database. So two different things, right? Now you want to migrate it for some reason, some business reason. They say like Teradata cannot hold more data. It's a lot of data is coming on, so we are migrating the project into Oracle. Okay, good. So now if you are having two different databases, you need some really document, because if some experienced guy is working from long time and that guy knows everything in and out, and how to write a SQL query, and suddenly that guy left the job. He went now. That guy was handling a lot of things. Now, if he's the guy gone, now his company is really in trouble. Who is going to do the work, right? Now, that's the reason you need this migration document, so that they could have this document prepared, all this information written somewhere, so that when new guy comes, have some idea what they're trying to do and how we are trying to move, then that helps for migration document. Okay, a lot of information will be coming, like which data it could be, because the two different database, Teradata, Oracle, two different types of SQL. Teradata has its own SQL, Oracle has its own SQL. The way it's handling the data is different. The way the data is stored, all this information should be contained in the migration document. How we proceed with that. Okay, so this is about various documents. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, so let's move pretty quick on this time. So just go to here. Let's talk about this. Any questions? So this was all about these documents, and all these documents is stored in Google Drive, and I'll be giving you access to this by end of today. Okay, so here we'll talk about this SDLC process. Okay, SDLC is software development lifecycle. Okay, and this is not something as software. This is not something which is application. So far we are talking about this application tools and a lot of things, but obviously this is not the case here. This is a framework. What is SDLC? It's a framework. So I hope you guys understand what the framework, right? No, the way you work, you have to follow certain procedures, certain process, right? So that's what this SDLC is all about. Let's say there is a let's see if there's a better definition here. Okay, here we go. A framework that describes the activities performed at each stage of software development. That's called SDLC. It's a framework that describes the activities. You need to follow activities, right? Development, requirement, development, testing, maintenance. Again going back. So that's framework. Okay, follow one step after that. Okay, so let's go to here. Okay, let's talk about this waterfall methodology. So this is derived from SDLC. This is one part of this SDLC process. So there is a pretty long list actually. So if you see here, there is actually 10 phases. If you see here, 10 phases. Okay. So if you're good with, if you're good in creative, you can come up with 10 phases. But I'll be sticking only to 6 phases. Okay. But if you have no time and if you can go more detail into it, that's good. You can do that. But I'll be sticking only to 6 phases for now. So you have requirements. Requirement phase. This is the job of a business analyst. Business analyst gathers all the requirements, talk to the manager, talk to the developer, talk to the tester, and gets all the information, and then starts writing requirements. Okay, that's the requirement section. Design phase. Okay, design phase is a job of a architect guy. Okay, in this what happens is all this designing of an application, how it should look like, how it feel, what the data is will be back end, what it will be the front end, all these things will be designed by the architect guy, and this is in the design phase. Next, implementation phase. This is the job of a developer. Okay, now implementation, the guy who puts all the coding work is done in the implementation phase. Now in this testing phase. Now this is the job of of course, QA analyst. Okay, and here where the you have to start your testing. Okay, now installation phase. In this installation phase, normally not QA, not developer. This is a middleware team who actually works. We need to coordinate with them. Okay, they will be moving the data from one environment to another environment. Okay, they have to development to testing, testing to production. So this is all happens in installation phase and the maintenance. So if there are any issues, production issues or any issues, this has to be maintained. So normally developer works, but if you're senior QA, senior lead, okay, senior QA or senior lead, you know you'll be also working in the maintenance phase. Okay, so these are the 5 steps, you know, that that is there in the waterfall method. And why it's called waterfall methodology? Because it's one way, right? You see this waterfall, right? Waterfall is only one way from top to bottom. There's no bottom to top. So that means if you found any issues or something here in between, you have to go back to the comment and again start from scratch. That's the problem with this waterfall methodology. Okay. So let me ask you this question. So as the tester, as a QA analyst, can anyone tell me which part of my phase does my job starts? Can anyone tell me?
Test phase.
Okay, test phase. Anyone else? Requirements. Okay, good. Requirements. Anyone else? So if somebody said other than requirements, so my question would be, so what will be we doing in all these phases? If we are starting our work from test phase, okay, implementation. So my question will be, if you are starting the work from test or implementation or any design, so are we being idle all these phases? So we'll be doing nothing. So now, they don't pay you for doing nothing, right? They pay you to do the work, not for doing nothing. Okay. So we will not be idle in all the phases. So our job starts right from the requirement phase. So let's see how. Okay, our job starts right from the requirements. We don't start from test or we don't start from anywhere. We start from right from requirements. Let's see here. What happens in the requirement phase? Yeah, if anyone wants audio. Okay, if anyone wants, they can unmute here. Okay, and I know you can go ahead if you have any questions. Okay, I think you can unmute yourself. Okay, it's you can unmute here, and I also have this audio on, so this will be good. Okay, so our job starts from requirements. Let's see how. Okay, what happens in the requirements? The business analyst proposes this document. Now you need to set up a meeting. Meeting with of course, as a if you are new, you have to be involved. Okay, and the lead normally since a meeting invite or business analyst starts a meeting, and they'll come up with a meeting. Here what you will be doing is a brainstorming. Okay, now this is the requirement. Let's say they'll come up with some requirement. This is the requirement. How are you going to proceed with the testing? Okay, now how are we supposed to do this? Because let's say there is already the testing is process in this environment. Now this is a new. We cannot start with this because we don't have another environment. We only have this 2 environments, QA environment, and it's blocked, and we cannot move. And how are you going to proceed with that? So all this brainstorming work, right? It has to be done in the requirement phase. And let's say if you found some issue or this requirement, has some issues, um, Okay, so yeah, if anyone has any questions, yeah, just we'll just complete this pretty quick. Okay, and you can call me. Okay, so we can discuss later if you have any questions. Okay, let's finish this pretty quick here. Okay, so okay, so in requirements, right, you have to do brainstorming. That which what is the requirements? How are you going to proceed with this environment? This is the we are blocked with the environments, and how are you going to do this? How we are moving forward? All those things, and what are the actually the requirements? How the if you found any issues with the requirements, you need to open the right away. I mean, it's not like opening defects, then I have to find out, okay, this is the requirement, this is not supposed to be the QA part, perspective and all those things. So all the brainstorming work works right here. So this is, you have to set up the meeting and you need to gather all this information and you need to talk in this requirement session. Okay, how are you moving to production? How are you moving into the testing? And how are you going to test all this, based on the information? Are we going to test with all browsers? Are we going to test in the databases? Are we also going to do performance testing? Are we, so all these things, right? This is called brainstorming. So you have to do in the comment phase. Okay. JID sessions, yeah, you can take it as JID sessions, or there's a lot of things. It's actually basically based on the projects. Okay, so yeah, you can take it as yeah, it's of course based on the project level. Yeah, so JAD sessions is also one of them. Okay, so next it's a design. So here what you do, so QA point of view, what QA does here, brainstorming, set up meetings, understand the requirements, find any issues in the requirements you need to say that time, and fix any issues if there are any. Design. So let's say you have a lot of work. So what you have to do, test plan document, you have to create test test strategy document, test cases, lot of things, right? Let's say you want to use this, so you will be doing all this test plan, test strategy in this. Okay, in the design phase. Let's come into the implementation phase. As a QA, let's say you didn't have enough time to do test plan, test strategy. Now you want to write your test cases here. Okay, so you are writing test cases in the test implementation phase. So you're not idle, right? You're using all the time here. Okay, let's go to the testing part. Here you will be executing your test cases. In the test phase, you will be executing your test phases. Okay. Installation phase. Now again, your installation, that means you're moving the whole code from test environment to production. Then you need to coordinate. So coordination is very important because you want to see if there are no issues, there's no there's no breakage of code, there's no breakage of any system. So that's what you will be doing in the installation. You want to move your code to test to of course, middleware team will be involved, but you need to coordinate with them accordingly. Okay. And maintenance phase. In the maintenance phase, mostly QA. Okay. So QA lead or or senior QA will be involved in the maintenance. Okay. So this is a waterfall methodology. So, but it has its own drawbacks. And this is important. So the more important advantage of this waterfall is when you want quality is more important than cost. When you think that quality should be important, then use waterfall. And the agile is other way around. Cost is more important than quality. If you think the cost is important, then use agile. Okay, so this is the advantage of this waterfall becomes an disadvantage of agile. Okay. So that's no major important. Let's go pretty quick here. Just finish it up. So there's something called V-shaped SDLC model. Okay, the reason they have V shape because you are doing simultaneously two works at a time. Okay, requirement, project planning, production, operation, product requirement analysis. So you are doing, the V shape. It comes like V shape. So that's why it's called V shape SDLC. Okay, so it has its own advantage and disadvantage. Let's move to the next methodology. So these are all methodologies. It's not necessary, it's one or two. It is many, and also sometimes the client itself has its own methodology. They might use their own methodology. They don't depend on this all agile or waterfall or whatever. They might have their own way of doing things. Okay, so it might be also the case. So let's go to the next one. So you can refer this document again. This is in Google Drive. I'll send you, today. And there's also already rapid application development. Okay, so that's used more into agile process. Okay, okay. So here incremental SDLC model. Okay, the same SDLC process. It's an incremental. Here you are doing verification and validation. So that's why it's called incremental SDLC. Okay. That's what it's SDLC. Incremental SDLC, let's go to this. It has its own advantages and disadvantages. Then you have the spiral SDLC model. Okay. Spiral SDLC. So here what happens is spiral is it's divided into 4 different quadrants. First quadrant is objectives and alternatives, and third is develop, next level, and this next level. So what the process remains same. Okay, your prototype, concept, requirements, design, implements, all this you are using here, but you are moving in, in spiral way, right? From one quadrant to another quadrant, from another quadrant to another quadrant. Okay, so that's why it's called spiral SDLC. Okay, so let's move to the next one. So we'll talk about this agile. Agile, we'll talk about this on Monday. Okay, so I'll take whole class for agile. See, we'll go through different terminologies and see what's agile and how does it work. Okay. Okay, so agile has lot of more things. Okay, these are okay. So agile, if someone says I work in agile, so that is very high level. You don't know what you're working on. Mostly, Scrum is more famous. So we will be using Scrum. These are also part of this agile. ASD or Christian period. There is also Kanban. Kanban is also part of the agile. Okay, so we'll talk about this Scrum more because Scrum is more ceremonial kind of thing. And if you know Scrum, this all will be similar. It's not same, it's a similar because the way you do in the Scrum is you do a lot of things. Okay, so once you know this, all this will be similar process. Okay, and you'll be using any one in the project. You'll be using either Scrum or you'll be using Rapid Application Implement, Extreme Programming, Rational, any one. Okay, or more than that. Okay, so based on the project, however they are using. Okay. This is Extreme Programming. This is also part of this Agile. Okay, so let's see here. It is me. Let's start to. Okay, so that's much. Let's go to next. Any questions so far? So these are the methodologies. So what we talked about. This is methodologies. One is the waterfall methodology. Okay, that is SDLC, and agile is completely different. So that's not really with the agile. That's not with SDLC derived. All this waterfall, spiral, helical, incremental SDLC. So all these are derived from SDLC process. But agile is a different thing. That's not related to SDLC process. I mean, not completely related, but it's a different part. Okay. So let's go to pretty quick a different one. So let's talk about SDLC. Okay. So far we discussed about SDLC, software development lifecycle. Now we'll talk about software testing lifecycle. Okay. So let's see here. Here in software testing lifecycle, these are the 3, 4, 5. These are the 5 phases. Okay. 5 phases, and we know most of them. Test plan preparation. We talk about this test plan. After test plan, you want to test case design. Okay, and then you execute the test execution and test log preparation. So if you see this rally, right, we actually have some of them. Let's see here. Okay, then defect tracking and test report preparation. Let's see, pretty quick here in rally. You can. So here you don't really have the test plan in rally, but other than that, you have test case design. So of course we have done test cases, right? If you see here. So this is what we are talking about, test cases. Okay, this is the test cases, and that means you have to design it. Test execution, test execution and test log preparation. You see here. Test execution means, as I told you, right? You are executing a test case by clicking on this icon. Okay, this is the result. So this is called test execution. You see this successfully executed. This is execution. And test log preparation. Okay, log in sense. The information about what does the information contains. Let's say result. So this is a log. I mean, this is an example. This is not literally the meaning, but it's just an example. This can be a log. That means you have this information here. Okay, so that's what it means by test execution and test log preparation. Defect tracking. Of course, if you have open defects, if you see this defects, so you have this defect, right? When you open this is defect. And it's like say D446, and you want to track it. Okay, if you go here and track it in the defects, and that's called defect tracking. And if you know the number, okay, you can put it right here and track the defects. Okay, that's called defect tracking. And test report preparation. Of course, we have done this. We'll go to the report section and we generate the report. That's called test reports. Okay, so this is the phase. This is STLC, the software testing lifecycle. Okay, this should be easy because if you are using Rally, it should be easy because we have done test. Okay, we didn't do test plan. We'll be doing this later, but we have done test case design, test execution, test log preparation. We also open defects and test report preparation. Okay, so this is all about in detail information. So we can go through this. Okay, so roles and responsibilities, right? Let's say here, if you are a tester, you need to coordinate the lead, test lead, and then comes test manager. Okay, test manager, above test manager is test director. Okay, so one more test director, right? And test engineer or QA analyst, is the one who actually prepares the test case. That's the hierarchy. And again, you have for the developer, same too. Developer, architect, lead, dev lead, we call dev lead, and then you have dev manager, above the dev director. Okay. So this is the design of test case. We worked on test case, so this should be good. So we have gone through this. Once you open this defect, it is new. So we'll talk in this detail, in a moment. Okay. Severity, we talk about the severity. There's minor, major, and critical. When to use it, when not to use it. We have discussed this. Priority. Okay. So talk about this priority. Okay. So, any questions so far? So let's talk about this. So far we discussed about SDLC, STLC, and now we'll talk about bug life cycle or defect life cycle. This, if anyone have any questions, you can unmute your mic. Okay. Okay, so this is defect life cycle. And let me give you better example here. So what we are talking about is defect. Let's see here. We'll go back here. This is the same thing what we have done. Okay, if you have open defects, you will be knowing it. So let's go to the defect. So what we are actually talking about is, let's click on this particular defect, and we are talking about this defect stage right now. Okay, that's called defect life cycle. How does it move from submitted to open, open to fix, and fix to close? How does that move? So that's what we are talking about. So let's see here this diagram. Oops, this is gone. Okay, so first new, whenever you open a defect new status, then you change it to open. You have to make sure from submitted you need to change it to open. Okay, once you open it, you want to assign to developer or respective owner of the defect. And once you assign, if it's a normal, that's good. The defect got fixed. There will be one more that's fixed. After fixed, you test it again. Okay, once a developer changes the status to fix, that means it's your job to test it again. Once you test it, verified, and you close it. So that's simple way. Okay, this is one flow, but it's always not. Most of the time it will not be that case. So what you want to do is hit assign, it gets fixed, and test. Let's say you didn't find satisfactory. That means the defect didn't got fixed. You want to reopen, but this time if you're reopening, you better talk to the developer directly or call them or have a meeting or you have a screen sharing or whatever you want. But if you're reopening, because this gets rejected second time, if you're opening without coordination or without communication, it gets almost outright rejected because there's no reason to reopen it. Okay, you better need to have a meeting set up with developer or the whole team to understand what actually the defect is, and then reopen, assign it. Say no, this is really not my problem. This is architect guy. You have to assign to the person, and you have to go this flow. Okay, so that is the case. But let's say if you assign it some defect which is really they're not worrying about, so it gets either rejected. So that means this is not a defect. Okay, they're not bothered about it, so it gets rejected. They'll say it's not a defect, it's a feature. Okay, so it gets rejected. Now this another case is deferred. The reason it gets deferred because let's say developer is working, but it takes a lot more time. Okay, it takes too much time. So they're fixing a different project, or I'm sorry, different release. Okay, they're different release. Then this defect gets to the next release. Okay, that means they don't have enough time to fix it. So they're deferring this defect to next release. So that's what defer means. It goes to the next release. So that's about defect life cycle. Okay, or bug life cycle. So these are basically all the life cycles: SDLC, STLC, and bug life cycle. These are the major life cycles. What this is normally the framework. Okay, how you want to perform in the work at the workplace. Okay. Any questions so far? So yeah, just try to practice it. Practice. You have this rally, make use of this, make good use of this, and try to see if you can. Yeah, some people said like they will be submitting later. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, you try to get used to it so that you'll be having some better idea how to use the tools. It's normally the whole your work will be mostly how to use an application or in a tool or anything. So any application. So this is also an application, right? This is also tool is also an application. So basically, it's your job will be in how to use it and how to report the defects. That's a major thing you need to know. And you need to be really very good at observation skills. The moment you need to catch in every defect, okay, you don't want to let it go. Okay, the reason, because if you're opening so many defects, they cannot they cannot fire you so easily. If you're, because who is going to fix it, right? If once they get fixed, and you keep on opening defects, it would be a hard time to to do anything for you, because okay, so because nobody else can do that, right? Nobody else knows how to do it. Nobody else, even your boss might not know, okay, how to do it. Okay, so that's a good thing if you keep opening defects. I mean, keep opening in sense that always try to see if you can open medium defects. Medium defects are good. Okay, that is the intention. And high level defects, of course, is, you don't get. You need to be really lucky to open those things. And cosmetic issues, you have to be also be on that, because see, here's the thing, right? Whenever you are opening defects, your name keeps coming up, and once the name keeps on coming up, and you are in good position, okay, right? Oh, it is open to two defects. Oh, two defects. What are two? So that's how. Okay, so that's good. So always make sure you're in the right track. Okay, so that's the important thing. Okay, so next Monday, right? So yeah, Monday we'll talk about this agile. We'll discuss about this agile methodology, and we'll have some terms, right? We'll try to understand what are the various terms used in agile, not just like waterfall. It's little different. So, okay, no one have any questions? Can we close this class for today? So, I, right, yeah, we will not be having class on Thursday and Friday. That's the Thanksgiving Day, right? So let's see here. Let's pretty quick check in my schedule too. So okay, good. So that's 22nd. Yeah, that's right. 23rd and 24th we don't have this class. Okay, so we will start, because 23rd is Thanksgiving Day, right? And 24th is also in a holiday. So we'll start right from 27th, and we'll finish this by 28th. So 2 days. So in 2 days we'll talk about QTP and certification part, and also somebody requested some tool, right? That's TFS. We will also talk about that. So okay, thank you guys.